Hello vinyl community, Mike from MikeGuitarPlayer07 here, coming at you live with another vinyl record video, and this is a contest entry for Rachel over at the Music Ma'am VC. She just hit 250 subs, which is fantastic. She's at 254 when I looked. Me and her are practically neck and neck subscriber-wise now, because I'm at, when I last checked, 258, 259, so. And I've had my channel since 2011. Not that it's a competition, however, you know, shows how great of a channel she is. So, she has a few questions for us, and of course she has the rules of you gotta be a subscriber, video, all that normal jazz. And if you win her contest, you get a $25 gift card. So, let's get started. So, the first is to discuss a musical landmark you visited. Now, for me, like rock and roll and all this stuff, I really haven't gotten to go to. I haven't gotten to go to like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I haven't been to Graceland. I really haven't been to Sun Records. I haven't done anything cool like that. However, I have done many musical performances, and I'm a music business major, and I have been to places where those important music places wouldn't exist if it weren't for this. Now, I have digital images of 2 of the 3 locations that I'm going to talk about here, and if I can figure out how to insert them into this video, whether it be intermittently or all at the end, I will do that. I am going to cut takes and all this to try to make it so I can put it inside the video, so you don't have to wait until the end or skip to the end and then go back and all that. So, I'm going to do this in order of places, but this first one is the one I've been to the most. The Stanhope House in Stanhope, New Jersey. Most of us know him from New Jersey, USA, so if you didn't know that, now you do. Stanhope House is a restaurant and bar and music venue, and I've gotten to be an opening act for various acts multiple times here. No one really famous or anything, but some popular local people. However, on that same stage, people like Little Richard, Little Richard and B.B. King have performed on the exact same stage I performed on. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to do a clip thing here. Some of my videos on my YouTube channel of my performances when I say the Stanhope House is on there. Well, that's me performing at that place, but I'm going to try to insert a still photo here. So we have that. The next place is Carnegie Hall, and similar to the Stanhope House situation, I've performed there once with my high school honors choir, or it's pretty much the equivalent of a madrigals. It was called madrigals my freshman year of high school, and then sophomore through senior year they changed to honors choir. Why? I don't know. I don't care. It really doesn't matter. But it's the equivalent thing anyway. So Carnegie Hall, and that was cool because my high school choir, along with multiple other schools, did a piece called Requiem for the Living by a gentleman named Dan Forrest, and I actually got to meet Dan Forrest, have him sign my music score and all that, which was kind of cool. And what's interesting about Dan Forrest's Requiem for the Living is, for those who know what a requiem is, for example, like Mozart's Requiem, requiems are usually masses for the dead. So Requiem for the Living is a different take on that. So this one, there's no photos or videos of. You're not allowed to do that in Carnegie Hall. My parents might have snuck a photo or 2 here and there, might have it on Facebook. If they do, I can't remember at the moment, because it's highly illegal to do that. And finally, I'm a music business student, and that's what I'm getting my MBA in, music and entertainment management. So I get to take some field trips to some locations on top of working for some people. I've only gotten one, rather than doing music performances, one real music gig so far, which is my current internship. The most notable band that I get to work with, fairly hands-on with, would be the British Invasion 60s band, The Zombies. working hands-on with their visas for when they're doing international tour and all this stuff. Working with some other various security stuff, this, that, and the other thing. And getting to work with the merchandise, taking care of the autographed records, taking care of the shirts, all that stuff. It's just a really fun experience. And I got to not talk to directly, but through me and then through my boss, talk to Colin Blunstone and Rod Argent, which is freaking cool. It's also cool to see the records themselves. Some of them have Jim Rodford's signature, which is kind of sad to see because he passed away a couple years ago. He was the bassist for the Zombies. Now his son, Jim Rodford's son, I believe it's Steve Rodford, I believe now is his name, is now doing that. But why does this all come into discussing a music landmark you visited? Because I haven't gone on tour with the Zombies, and the Zombies tour is now canceled and a bunch of stuff is postponed. I just had to edit all their like bands in town, Jambase, fans.com, what else is there? They're ticketing tour websites pretty much that say, oh, this band is going to be here, Eventful, things like that. And tell them what date it was from and all that stuff. But where does that come into play? Well, it comes into play with me being a music business student, getting to go to places where they make history, to have all these landmarks like important. Warner Music Group I got to visit this past, literally a week before the coronavirus really got bad in the United States and New York City specifically. I got to go to the Warner Music Group. And their main headquarters is in New York City. They have offices in New York, Los Angeles, and various other places in the United States. But Warner Music Group is the main hub there. And I'll insert a photo here, so let's do that. Okay, so you saw that. And I got to meet some cool people. I got to meet the recruiter of Warner Music Group. I got to meet the general manager of Atlantic Records. I got to go where the main Atlantic Records recording studio, where most of the album Hamilton, the musical, the soundtrack was recorded. Ben Platt was in the same studio I was standing in, at the same piano I was sitting at, less than 24 hours before me. Yeah. Lin-Manuel Miranda has been there multiple times. Lizzo's been in there. A whole bunch of people. And of course there's historical artists such as Crosby, Stills, and Nash, which is under Warner. They were on Atlantic. We had Peter, Paul, and Mary, which was part of the Warner, direct Warner label, not a sub-label. So yeah, even though I haven't been to like any official, like one of those cool landmarks, I do have those experiences, and I hope those count. I don't see why they wouldn't, but you know. So, the second question Rachel has for us is the story of my YouTube name. I created my YouTube channel in 2011, and the main point of it was to promote my music, market myself. And so you'll see music performances from when I was in 7th grade all the way till last year when I had my last main music performance. And then the little things here and there when I post stuff I do at home. And I do want to post some from home in the near future, but I got to perfect them and feel like they're confident enough. But back in 2011, I was finishing 8th grade, beginning of high school. I was still paranoid of having my name out there. My parents were like, you're not putting your name out there. You better not put Michael Groshadle out there. And I was like, okay, well, I won't. So my main instrument at that time was the guitar. My name is Mike guitar player. So now you want to know where the 07 comes from. The house I currently live in, that I'm sitting in my bedroom in, my family moved into this house in 2007. So that's where 07 comes in. So My Guitar Player 07. Short, sweet story. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild, but that's how My Guitar Player 07 came to be. The final thing that Rachel has asked is to discuss a song, lyric, melody that you consider really beautiful. And y'all are probably sick of me pulling this out at this point, but Dream Theater's Metropolis Part 2 Scenes from Memory. And I have the booklet out because I want to reference the lyrics here, but I'll let you see the inside here. So this is what the disc looks like. Rachel is very CD friendly as well as records, and I didn't want to pull out the record, so I pulled out a CD. So that's what that looks like. The back cover of the album jacket, that's a newspaper that it says, "Murder, young girl killed, desperate shooter, desperate shooting in Echoes Hill, dreadful ending, killer died, evidently suicide." And then we have a suicide note. And the lyrics that the newspaper article came from is a song on this album called Fatal Tragedy. I guess I kind of have to explain this album a little bit to explain the songs I'm going into. And Fatal Tragedy is not the song I intend to talk about, but since I mentioned this article, I will get into that in a moment. So pretty much what Metropolis Part 2 Scenes from Memory is about. It takes place in 1999 when this album came out, about Nicholas, and he's seeing this girl in his dreams. He's feeling this strange deja vu, and that's actually the name of one of the songs too. But strange deja vu, and he's experiencing all these things from the past, and he doesn't understand what it is. So he goes to a hypnotherapist and learns that he's a reincarnation of a girl named Victoria, who died in 1928. And if there's a song on here called Overture 1928, which goes into that. And pretty much Nicholas is living his own life, but in similar footsteps as Victoria. He it's more of he's just seeing these things and he's not understanding. There's a song on this album called, what was it? Actually, in Strange Deja Vu, he's, no, not in Strange Deja Vu. He pretty much, he's seeing all these, he's now, he pretty much, I don't remember which song it is at the moment. And, but he's going into, he's seeing this girl in the mirror, her voice every time he sees it's like getting more and more clear in his head, this kind of thing. He's like, but he's just like, what the heck is going on? So he goes to a hypnotherapist, learns he's a reincarnation of this individual. Victoria died in 1928, as I said, and the killer played it off as did a whole suicide thing. I'm not going to get into the whole details of it, but pretty much he's a reincarnation of this individual. And Fatal Tragedy, the newspaper article is talking about, in the back of this is pretty much talking about the murder and what happened, and Nicholas is learning this through his hypnotherapy. So that brings us to the two most emotional and driven songs on this album. And I of the two, I could have chosen one of them, but really they're both so beautiful and so impactful. And easily two of my favorite Dream Theater songs of all time, but I'm going to be discussing the songs Through Her Eyes and The Spirit Carries On. The Spirit Carries On is my favorite Dream Theater song of all time. But Through Her Eyes first. Nicholas is now within his hypnotherapy and his being. He's visiting the gravesite of Victoria. And really the entire lyrics of this entire thing are really, really numbing, and really hearing it with pretty much, I believe John Mayung, the bassist, is using a fretless bass for this song, which really adds to it. It's really somber. Seeing this song specifically live, I nearly cried of how beautiful it was. I mean, if you check out the studio recording and then you hear the live version, it's like night and day. It's all beautiful either way. But so the lyrics are so short for this entire song. So I'm just going to read the handful of phrases that are in this and kind of elaborate a little bit more. Rachel, I know you like talking about history and talking and expanding upon things, so I don't think you'll mind me making this a little bit of a longer entry. So this is all Nicholas speaking, in this tune Through Her Eyes. She never really had a chance on that fateful moonlit night, sacrificed without a fight, a victim of her circumstance. Now that I've become aware and I've exposed this tragedy, a sadness grows inside of me. It all seems so unfair. I'm learning all about my life by looking through her eyes. Just beyond the churchyard gates, where the grass is overgrown, I saw the writing on her stone, and I felt like I could suffocate. In loving memory of our child, so innocent, eyes open wide, I felt so empty as I cried, like a part of me had died. I'm learning all about my life by looking through her eyes. As her image wandered through my head, I wept just like a baby as I lay awake in bed. And I know what it's like to lose someone you love. And this felt just the same. She wasn't given any chance. Desperation stole her voice. I've been given so much more in life. I've got a son and I've got a wife. I had to suffer one last time to grieve for her and say goodbye. Relive the anguish of my past to find out who I was at last. The door has opened wide. I'm turning with the tide, looking through her eyes. Wow. And what really made this powerful is the imagery. When I saw them live do this, the imagery of the gravestones in the cemetery. Obviously, it had Victoria's stone, but it also had Frank Zappa, Chris Cornell, all these celebrities, and some of them had died that week. It was very powerful. And I just think it's really... Rachel, please listen to this song on YouTube or however you listen to music outside of the physical media, because I think I'm one of two people in the VC who own this, me being one of those two, album. So, but I think it's really beautiful and really heartfelt and heart-wrenching, and I think I already mentioned this, but it gives me chills every freaking time. And I know what it's like to lose someone you love, and this felt just the same. He's never even freaking met Victoria. He doesn't even know who Victoria is, and he's feeling this? It's crazy. And he's looking back on the parents in loving memory of our child, so innocent, eyes open wide. Because, I'm not a parent yet. I'm single as can be, so who knows if I'll get that chance. I'm not that far in life yet. I'm not too worried about it at the moment, but I can't even imagine losing a child. And sacrifice without a fight, a victim of her circumstance. Because she was stuck in a love triangle. Two brothers together. And she was with the one person, but the one person was partying, all intoxicated all the time, not treating her great. So she went to the other brother when the other brother started giving her attention. And that's kind of the victim of her circumstance. Then obviously Nicholas is all upset because he's seeing all this and all that. So he wept like a baby as I lay awake in bed because he's thinking about this. He can't get her out of his mind. And then he's reflecting on how he was given so much more in his life with having a son and a wife and all that. And that he had to suffer one last time to grieve for her because he's living in a reincarnation of her, even though it doesn't discuss Nicholas's love life in any way, shape, or form. But I guess you could say it's kind of assumed. I'm still looking into the deeper messages and everything of this album, because even though it is my favorite album of all time, I still do not even know close to everything about it. But it's just fascinating to me. But then it's just so great how at the end, the door has opened wide, I'm turning with the tide. He's living his life and giving Victoria a second chance at life through him. It's really beautiful. And then the song The Spirit Carries On. You know, I wasn't gonna do this whole thing. I was gonna just go with Victoria's verse of this song. However, I'm gonna go with the whole thing here, and I'll specify which is Nicholas and which is Victoria. So this is Nicholas. Where did we come from? Why are we here? Where do we go when we die? What lies beyond, and what lay before? Is anything certain in life? They say life is too short for the here and the now, and you're only given one shot. But could there be more? Have I lived it before? Or could this be all that we've got? If I die tomorrow, I'd be all right, because I believe that after we're gone, the spirit carries on. I used to be frightened of dying. I used to think death was the end. But that was before I'm not scared anymore. I know that my soul will transcend. I may never find all the answers. I may never understand why. I may never prove what I know to be true, but I know that I still have to try. If I die tomorrow, I'd be all right, because I believe that after we're gone, the spirit carries on. And then Victoria comes in. Move on, be brave. Don't weep at my grave, because I am no longer here. Please never let your memory of me disappear. And then Nicholas again for the rest of the song. Safe in the light that surrounds me, free of the fear and the pain. My questioning mind has helped me to find the meaning in my life again. Victoria is real. I finally feel at peace with the girl in my dreams. And now that I'm here, it's perfectly clear that I found out what all this means. If I die tomorrow, I'd be all right, because I believe that after we're gone, the spirit carries on. Now, I don't know who in the VC is spiritual, if you are at all, Rachel, or if you believe in the religion or follow it or any of that stuff. I'm not a Bible thumper, but I believe. And I don't go to church every week, but I try to follow in the footsteps of the religion that I'm in, and I do believe that spirit carries on in the traditional form that this song is stating. And even if you don't, the song is still beautiful, because in many religions, you don't necessarily have to follow it or believe it, but they allow for, and are just happy to know that the witness of religion to those non-believers or those troubling with religion are just happy to have the witness of those individuals and to have them listen. But either way, whether you take this from a spiritual standpoint or whatever else you want to take it as, because I just take it as a spiritual or religious thought process. But now, before I go on, there's a passage that the hypnotherapist says in between two of the songs called, "Remember that death is not the end, but just the death is not the end, but only the beginning," or something like that. Something along the lines of pretty much. And I'm sorry that I'm failing lyrically. There's a reason why I'm reading from the book. I suck at memorizing lyrics and memorizing things like that. I have to hear something a couple thousand times, I feel like, before I freaking memorize lyrics. But something along the lines of, death is not the end, but here's what it is. This is the line I remember now. Death is not, the hypnotherapist says, remember that death is not the end, but only a transition. There it is. That's the line. So, but me not remembering the lyrics, those lines, that still holds true. But anyway, so if you can't already just tell by hearing the lyrics how beautiful it is, and Rachel, again, the spirit carries on, please check out these songs, because me speaking them really doesn't do it justice. Hearing them in real time and the melody and all that stuff, like, the lyrics are here, the song is here. You're missing the melody. Please check out the melody of these, because I didn't sing them to you. I mean, I could if you wanted me to, but anyway. what I was initially going to just focus on was Victoria's lines, which is, "Move on, be brave, don't weep at my grave, because I am no longer here, please never let your memory of me disappear." That's very beautiful. Because, you know, I don't know how everybody is in life with thinking of certain things, but in regards to these lines, at least for me, I knew this album before my grandfather's death. And Rachel, you're a fairly new member to the VC, so if you don't know my connection with my grandfather, send me some sort of comment, send me your email, send me your Facebook, send me your Instagram, let me connect with you, and I could tell you the story. And because I've explained it a couple times in previous videos, I just don't want to. For those who already know it, I don't want to waste their time. But my grandfather was always a very strong individual, even when he was suffering through his cancer and all this stuff. And when I learned it became terminal, obviously, there's very few times where I nearly stopped dead in my tracks and broke down, and that was one of those times where I did. And only my mother knew. I don't think my grandparents, I don't think, told anybody else rather than my mother and my uncle. And I don't remember what was happening, but I was working for my grandfather one day, and I finished the work and all that stuff, and he said, "You seem off," and I was just like, the other day, or however long ago it was from that moment, not very long after, pretty much I just know the situation. I broke down in front of him, and he said, "Don't cry," and gave me a big bear hug, and it was nice, because I know that even though at that time he wasn't suffering as much as he did during his final month, thankfully most of his time he did not suffer. The camera cut me off there during the last 3 years of his cancer that he dealt with. However, something that that moment really made me think is, even though it wasn't fun for him, even though he was tired because of the treatments and all that stuff, really, essentially, he didn't want me to be upset. He wanted me to stay strong as he was being. And even though it was hell for him, he definitely did stay strong through it. So Victoria's lines really stood strong once he passed. It literally, when he died, very rarely do I feel an uncertainty or an unexplainable change of feeling or being. But when my grandfather died, I did. Because I didn't know what was happening. I was with my girlfriend at the time. We were about to watch the movie Saw. And I hear my mom's phone ring downstairs, and I hear her on the phone. Don't know who she's with. But I heard her walking down the hall downstairs. She was going to go with my dad, but I'm like, I just stopped, and I was like, my girlfriend's name, I said to her, and I was like, something don't feel right. My grandfather, I think he's gone. I think he just left us. And she wasn't religious, and that's fine. She didn't have to be, but she thought I was nuts. She thought that, and for me, if it was me in her shoes, I would have said the same thing. I never felt anything like that before, but about a minute or two later, my mom came up the stairs and said, "I'm going to your granny's. Your grandfather has passed." And my mom knew that, and I made sure that she said, "I don't care what I'm doing, but when he goes, you need to tell me." So if I never told her that, she probably wouldn't have come up here when me and my girlfriend are about to watch a movie. But there's very few people who I need to know that kind of thing or felt the need to, and due to my strong attachment with my grandfather, I did. But I'm going off on a lot of tangents with this today, but pretty much the whole point of telling that is, after my mom left the room, all that kept playing in my head was, "Move on, be brave, don't weep at my grave, because I'm no longer there. Please never let your memory of me disappear." And that's just kind of stuck to me. And it was always strong before that, but now had a whole new meaning for me. And also the stuff when Nicholas is saying, on a lighter note, they say life is too short for the here and now, and you're only given one shot. But could there be more? Have I lived before? Or could this be all that we've got? The line about have I lived before could take multiple meanings, of course, with Victoria in the 1920s versus 1999 and all that. But also, is he living life to the fullest in the way he wants to? That's pretty much what this whole stanza is. Am I living life the way I want to be? Or is there something better? Because I'm a firm believer of you work hard and you do what you want and you get in there, you could do whatever you want. There's going to be a shit ton of boundaries in your way in many cases sometimes. But if you're kind of confident in it, do it. I am dealing with that right now with one of my projects that I have for one of my classes. Entrepreneurship in the music business. I'm creating a not-for-profit recording studio for low-income individuals who can't afford to traditional recording studio rates or afford to buy the equipment for a home studio. And my professors keep coming down on me and it's like, give us more. What's the point of this when people can record at home? And I'm just like, isn't that the whole point? Are you missing the point? However, by the end of the semester, I'm going to prove them that we got this. Even though it's a little, life is too short for the here and the now. Sure. That's why I'm working towards this goal, even if it's fictional, because this is just a class project. Who knows? Maybe it could become reality. But life is too short for them to not believe in me. I'm going to achieve, and I'm going to be successful. Maybe my grade will not show as well because they think that it's not worthy, but maybe during my final presentation, I'll prove them wrong. But anyway, life is too short. Don't worry, be happy, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's really nice because even though Nicholas is wondering, is this all that we got and all this stuff? He said, if I die tomorrow, I'd be all right because I believe that after we're all gone, the spirit carries on, and you live in the afterlife and all that stuff, if you believe in that, like I do. Because if he dies tomorrow, he'll know that he was living his life to the fullest that he wanted to, and was doing it the way he thought was right, and he was happy, and that's what's important. Self-happiness, right? And of course, the spirit carries on. And that obviously the whole thought of the spirit carries on felt great because obviously, I bring it back to my grandfather again. Of course, I felt a great loss, but he was no longer. But why was I being? But I was being selfish to myself because, in a way, I mean, obviously we all grieve, we all feel sadness when someone dies, but like, the spirit carries on. He's still with us in spirit, or for me, in spirit, my family. He's now reunited with his parents. That he had this spiritual relationship that I'm having with him now. But now he's with them in the afterlife, or at least that's what I believe and that's what I hope for. And he's happy as he liked to say, happier than a hog in shit. And that's fantastic. The song Spirit Carried Us On, as I said, is my favorite Dream Theater song, but really with everything with my grandfather, it really helped me out a lot. Well, let's see, what other lines can I talk about in this? Honestly, this whole album gave me a new perspective on what death was, too, because, I mean, I was always afraid of death, and I'm still kind of am to an extent. But from the religious aspect, it was kind of comforting, knowing that the soul's supposedly transitioned based on my religious beliefs and all that stuff, and it was great. And I was always raised to believe that, but I always was afraid of it, too, and I still am, as I said, but a little bit of comfort now, and a new perspective on death. And he talks about his Nicholas's my questioning mind has helped me to find the meaning of my life again, because obviously he was questioning, what's this girl doing, what's all this stuff, and it's all with asking questions, challenging yourself in life and all that stuff. So You know, there's a literal meaning and there's multiple perceptions that you could take, and I'm just talking about some of them, so. And, yeah, this video has gone long enough. Going off about that. Dream Theater's Metropolis Part 2, as VC knows, is my favorite album of all time. And as I said, I don't know everything about it, but I sure as hell could talk a whole lot about it. And as, actually, I was going to explain how Victoria and Nicholas end up with something, but never mind. I'm not going to ruin it. Rachel, please look up the songs Through My Words, or Through Her Eyes. The song Through Her Eyes and The Spirit Carries On. If not, check out the whole Metropolis Part 2 album. It's prog rock, prog metal. It's fantastic. It's not the traditional stuff that I know you to listen to, but if you're open to something new and a little heavier than the Beatles, go for it. Because or at least those two songs. You don't have to necessarily hear the whole album, but those two songs, so you could get the sense of the melody line. So anyway, Rachel, congratulations again on the 250 plus subs. This has been a roller coaster of a video and went directions that I wasn't exactly planning it. But, you know, that's the beauty of music. It makes you feel things in the moment. It makes you think. Music truly is a universal language, is it not? Like, you could be in any country in the world. You don't even have to understand the language, but you hear the sounds and the melodies and the inflection on one's voice, and you really do feel what those individuals are feeling, even if you don't know the language. One of my friends plays Italian music, and it's cool. I have nothing against it. Don't know the language, know a few words here and there, but I don't know it. I don't know what they're saying. But I know the inflection, I know what they're feeling. And that's what this music does. That's what music for all of us does. And that's the beauty about what we do in the VC and share our music and all this stuff. So, yeah, so that was my, as I said, a lot further, a couple tangents here and there, but that was pretty much my entry for Rachel. And I think I might be one of the first ones to enter, so yay. So those were my landmarks that I went to for the music world. Stored my YouTube name and discuss a song or two, and that's what I did. So Rachel, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoy your historical and your videos about your family, your life, this, that, and the other thing. It's just humbling seeing your videos because you have such a history and you embrace it, and I love that. And I love everything that everybody does in the VC. It's not specific to Rachel, but she really brings something to the table that some of us didn't necessarily have before in the VC. I'm rambling at this point. Pardon me. I usually try not to ramble in videos anymore because I used to have like 40-minute videos all the time. I don't even know how long this one's going to be. This one's probably going to be a half hour long, but anyway. Thank you guys for watching. Keep on spinning that wax if you made it through this entire video. Thank you. It's been a while since I've done a long one like this. Rachel, you're great. If you don't know who Rachel is, her links will be below. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Rachel, for having this contest. Keep on spinning that wax, and I'll see you in the next Final Record video.